is away. A little bit sluggish. But nice to hear it away. Of course, no number 2, Dean Harrison, recovering in hospital, with all our best wishes. So the Laylor Racing entry, the Yamaha, Ian Locker away. Just hear it disappear into the distance. Now then, it's Bruce Anstey on his return. He's been through the qualifying, return to racing. Here's Bruce. The gap at 6, you know what? 3 laps rather than 4 might suit Bruce Anstey here this evening as well, and slightly cooler temperatures. Gary Vines away on the first of the Binch Racing Yamahas. And here's the second with Jamie Coward. Number 9, James Hind away. Two John Chapman Racing Hondas. Number 10, Dan Sale. And there's no number 11, actually, a non-starter for Ryan Neen, so he's a non-starter on the John Chapman Racing Honda. So next away will be Laylor Racing Yamaha of Phil Harvey. Last year's winner, Lee Johnston. Quite often say bad practice, good race. We'll see with that with Lee. Here's Chris Moore away on another Yamaha. Now Dominic Herbertson on the John Chapman Racing Honda. Carsten Svensson away on a Yamaha. Just struggled to get into full chat there. Samuel Grief is number 17 away on a Honda. And this is number 18 away. That's Charles Rees Hardesty. Next away will be the Ducati of John Barton. Throaty noise as it heads down Glen Crutchley Road. So no Dave Hewson, so nobody going at 20. So it'd be number 38, Tom Snow on the FCL Racing Yamaha away. '29, Stephen Howard on another Yamaha. Honda Power next, 42, James Ford. Next away, 24, Alex Sinclair on the Ducati. Back to Yamahas with Christopher Dowling, number 49 away. The blue smoke hanging in the air over Glen Crutchley Road as Richard Lambourne gets underway, number 35. Number 30, Adrian Morris. Bit of an issue, I think. Just looking down at yes, it's the right-hand side, but he's eventually got going. But right over to the scoreboard side as Hefin Owen gets underway on his Ducati. The starter here of this Dunlop Lightweight Classic TT is Phil Morris of Phil Morris Racing. 54 away, that's Mike Carter on a Honda. 50 is Andrew Davies. Next away will be 43, Will Loader. But in the meantime, let's head out to Glen Helen and Dave Christian.
Yes, welcome back, Tim. And first man on the road, Davy Todd, has just gone through here. And he'll be making his climb up towards Sarah's Cottage, Lamfell, onto Cronkervoddy. And tucked in down behind that Farron towards the 11th milestone. Next machine into view. It is number 3, Ian Locker. And he's down on adjusted time. He's down on Davy Todd, but the one we need is number 5, Bruce Anstey, and here he is now. And he's quick as well. Bruce Anstey, number 5, safely through here on his first lap, and he currently leads number 1, Davy Todd, by 6 seconds here at Glen Helen on lap 1. But of course, I think the man that we need to look for is probably number 9, James Hind. He was, when you take Dean Harrison out of the equation, he was second quickest in qualifying. But Anstey noticeably quicker than Davy Todd and Ian Locker on the approach. And you could tell instantly that the time gap was down on where it should be. And here is the next man in. That is number 7, Gary Vines. Doesn't threaten the top 3, but he's being caught. At 8, Jamie Cowan, and 9 as well. There is James Hind, and James Hind into second place. So Anstey leads Hind by 5 seconds at Glen Helen on lap 1, with Davy Todd now down into third place. Next man on the road, that's the number 10 bike of Dan Sale. Dan slots into 4th place on our provisional leaderboard, but it is Anstey and Hind out front as it was in qualifying, with a gap of 5 seconds in the opening sector. And I think Chris Kinley had it down 38 seconds. We'd rounded that up to 40, and we're figuring if Bruce is about 40 seconds a lap quicker, and it's going to be a bit of a walk in the park. But that opening sector looks like James Hind is a lot more competitive than those qualifying times suggest. And he is just 5 seconds down on Anstey in the opening sector. Here's 2 together on the road, so somebody's moved up. That's 12 and 13, Phil Harvey and Lee Johnston. So Lee Johnston just about ahead of Phil Harvey on the road. He's definitely ahead of him on corrected time, though, by about 10 seconds. 14 now goes through, that's Chris Moore. And the next man tips into the left-hander, gets that knee out. That is Dom Herbertson, and Herbertson moves up. Dom Herbertson, 6th fastest on the opening lap, drops into the leaderboard just ahead of Jamie Coward, and is holding a 6th place right now. Number 15, Dominic Herbertson, just 2 seconds down on 5th place, Ian Locker. But it is at the head of the field, it is Bruce Anstey, number 5, leading number 9, James Hind, by 5 seconds. Next man in, that is number 18, Rhys Hardesty, quickly followed on the road by 17, Sam Grief. And Rhys Hardesty goes ahead of Dom Herbertson now, so Hardesty takes that 6th place. So it is pretty tight in that midfield. There's not much in the way of time gaps after the opening 9 and a bit miles, but it is Rhys Hardesty, number 18, the mover, the bigger mover in the top 20 at least, in 6th place. That's Johnny Barton on the Triumph, doesn't make an impact into the top 10. John Barton, number 19, at Triumph. John Barton on the Ducati even. And Barton just outside the top 10. Leader on the road, Davy Todd, he's made Ballaugh Bridge as 2 more come into the left-hander here at Glen Helen. 38 and 29. 38 is Tom Snow, 29 Stephen Howard. Howard holding 12th place. Tom Snow, number 38, holding 15th place. But your top 5, it's Anstey leads Hind by 5 seconds. Number 1, Davy Todd, is 3rd, just half a second down on Hind. Daniel Sale 4th, he is 2 seconds down on Todd. And in 5th place, number 3, Ian Locker, who is 7/10ths down on Dan Sale. Anstey, Todd and Locker now all through at Ballaugh Bridge, but it is number 9, James Hind, that will make the difference down there as 42 comes through here in the background. That's number 42, James Ford, safely through here on his opening lap. Ballaugh Bridge then, Anstey leads Davy Todd at the moment by 9 seconds, but we need James Hind to drop in there as 49 comes through. 49 here, Chris Dowling. He is safely through here on his opening lap. Next man into the left-hander, it's number 35, Richard Lambourne. stopped here this afternoon under the red flag, and he's safely through on his opening lap. But Balaf Bridge now, Anstey leads James Hind by 7 seconds. It's 6.685. We'll call that 7 as a nice round number. Bruce Anstey leads James Hind by 7 seconds at Balaf Bridge. With Davy Todd third, he is a further 2 seconds back on James Hind. Daniel Sale still in fourth place, number 10 Daniel Sale. This is at Balaf Bridge, is 8 seconds down on third place Davy Todd. Making up your top 5, it's Ian Locker, number 3. He is just 500ths of a second down on Daniel Sale. Back to you at the grandstand.
Yeah, another non-starter to give you, number 59, Tony Russell. One retirement, or just stopped actually, is Karsten Svensson at Valageri Corner. The Solby Speed Trap and Bruce Anstey, 150.1 miles per hour for the Flying Kiwi out there on the west side or northwest side of the island. Davy Todd, 147.5. Ian Locker, 146.8. They're the only 3 through the Solby Speed Trap at the moment, but of course we did have quite a staggered start to the race with Todd and then Locker and Harrison when there were big intervals between them rather than the 10-second intervals. There was 20 seconds between each of them, and they're very much up to the fore. But James Hind, number 9, is putting in an absolutely stellar performance. Dominic Herbertson is now registered at Balaf Bridge in 6th position, bike number 15. Also going well is Charles Rees Hardesty, who's now up into, well, he's actually dropped from 6th place at Glen Helen, but he is now currently occupying in 8th position out at Balaf Bridge. He's just dropped a couple of places, but it is Bruce Anstey who has a 6.8, in fact, 151.1 from Dan Sale is the quickest now at the Solby Speed Trap, and Dan Sale at Balaf Bridge in 4th position. Anstey 6.6 seconds ahead of James Hind at Balaf Bridge. Hind 2.1 seconds ahead of Davy Todd. But let's go to Ramsey Hairpin. Roy Moore.
16 seconds, in fact, covering the top 4, so there's a bit to sort out here at Ramsey as the first man in the Dunlop 250 lightweight is here, and it is number 1, Davy Todd. Tight to the outside there a little bit, not quite getting it chimed up, but he gets it chimed up now. But it was a long delay there before he got it onto the Rev power band and got away up towards the waterworks. But a good lead, but Bruce Anstey is the one we're looking for. Number 5, will he be sweeping out of Stella Maris wide? Well, he certainly is on a good line here into Ramsey. Down 1, down 2, down into bottom gear, but behind him sweeping out is Ian Locker. So Anstey has passed him and him too. A little bit of trouble getting it on the pipe going up towards the waterworks. And Ian Locker, no doubt you will hear him too. Maybe the gearing or whatever it might be. Well, certainly in the dry conditions it is critical, although they've got gearing in books for reference. Certainly when it becomes drier away, and Bruce Anstey took the opportunity there just a little bit further up the road than John McInnes does to reach out with his left hand and pull that rip-off off, and that will be lying in the road up there now. But certainly it's Bruce Anstey here at Ramsey at the moment, 14 seconds ahead off number 1 Davy Todd, with Ian Locker holding on to that third. But that James Hind is the one we're looking for. Is this him here now? It certainly looks as though it is. Number 9, Dennis Trollope on the side. He gets it on chimed a bit quicker, and there is number 9. Oh no, that's Jamie Coward. Number 8 it was. 9 was James Hind, and that's certainly true. There was Daniel Searle, should be with us here shortly. But it's Bruce Anstey by 11 seconds from James Hind, so he has opened a bit of a gap there from Balaf Bridge here to Ramsey of another 4 seconds. There is Dan Sale on the side, the VP sign, and away he goes and just sticks his left foot off the footrest to give us a bit of acknowledgement, I think, or maybe with the injuries received that he might just be stretching that on an area of the course that he can do it. But certainly through, it's Bruce Anstey by 11.5 seconds from in second place number 9 James Hind. James Hind is only 2.5 seconds ahead of in third place number 1 Davy Todd, who in turn is 10 seconds ahead of in fourth place number 3 Ian Locker, who in turn is 2 seconds ahead of in fifth place number 8 Jamie Coward, We then have to move, possibly, if he's through here now. Is this Dominic Herbertson here now, number 15? It certainly is. There he goes. No, it wasn't. That's number 13. That's Lee Johnson. There is number 15. 13 and 15, confusion. But Dominic Herbertson has moved up a place. He's into 5th place now. He's only 2 seconds down on Ian Locker. The machines through are number 14, Chris Moore, and 12, Phil Harvey. They're safely through. Lee Johnson we got. So let's review the leaderboard now, because I don't think there'll be anybody else that'll come that'll interfere with that. It's Bruce Anstey by 11.5 seconds from in 2nd place, number 9, James Hind. In 3rd place, number 1, Davy Todd, 2.5 seconds down on Hind. In 4th, number 3, Ian Locker, 10 seconds down on Davy Todd. 5th for number 15, Dominic Herbertson, just 2 seconds down on Ian Locker. In 6th place, number 8, Jamie Coward. He's only 0.3 of a second down on Dominic Herbertson. And then in 7th place, number 10, Dan Sale. He's only 0.3 ahead down on Jamie Coward. In 8th place, it's Charles Rees Hardesty, number 18. 4 seconds down on Daniel Sell, followed by a 9th place, number 7, Gary Vines. 9 seconds down on Charles Rees Hardesty. 10th for number 13, Lee Johnston. He's just 2 seconds it is, down on Gary Vines. 11th, number 14, Chris Moore. That was the bike you heard go through last year at Ramsey Hairpin. He's 5 seconds down on Lee Johnston. It's in 12th place for number 12, Phil Harvey. 15 seconds down on Chris Moore. And then in 13th, as he approaches us here now, he's broken the beam down the road, 19, John Barton. A different sound for you here at Ramsey, but that might be altered by the arrival probably of Stephen Howard and Tom Snow. John Barton might drop back a couple of places, because here's the boys now on the approach to Ramsey Hairpin. Stephen Howard and Tom Snow. They do in fact drop John Barton down to 15th. And it's 13th place for 29, Stephen Howard. He's 2.5 seconds behind Phil Harvey. And then it's Tom Snow in 14th place, 10 seconds down on Stephen Howard. Inevitably, that would be on the starting order. That puts John Barton down to 15th place. In 16th place, it's Alex Sinclair, because here he is. And James Ford, number 42, he picks it up. They're through the bungalow, and Bruce Anstey is increasing his lead. He's put a further 4 seconds out, as that was going through. Number 24, Alex Sinclair. Bruce Anstey, 15 seconds ahead at the bungalow from 9. James Hind within 3rd place, Davy Todd, 5 seconds down on James Hind. In 4th place, number 3, Ian Locker, 12 seconds down on Davy Todd. In 5th place there through the bungalow, Jamie Coward, 3.5 seconds down on Ian Locker. Dan Sale is only 2 seconds down on Jamie Coward in 6th place, and he's 14 seconds ahead of those through the bungalow so far. Number 7 in 7th place, Gary Vines. Chris Sterling gone through. Yeah, they're number 35 and 49 are safely through Ramsey, holding on to 18th and 19th positions respectively, and separated by 8 seconds. But back to the grandstand.
Thank you, Roy. I tell you who's doing well. Number 29, Stephen Howard. He's 13th at Ramsey Hairpin. He has dropped a place. He was in 12th position at Belaf Bridge. But we await the lights to go on, and right on cue, the light lights up for number 1 on the scoreboards opposite here at Glencrutchy Road, signifying that Davy Todd is through Cronknamona. James Hind is still second up at the bungalow, but the gap is 15.344 seconds. Bruce Anstey, the race leader, is now 23.2 seconds ahead of number 1, Davy Todd. Dominic Herbertson is up into 4th place, 0.076 ahead of Ian Locker at the bungalow. But it's James Hind. There was a gap of 20 seconds at the bungalow between Anstey and Todd. It's stretched to 23.2. He's on roughly 117 pace. We'll check that with Chris Boyd. But we are going to see Davy Todd come into our view very shortly, coming out of Governor's Dip and onto Glencrutchy Road. Can hear him in the distance. Here he comes, and he's coming in. Davy Todd with that distinctive helmet, the pink Dayglow helmet, into a stop, 114.687 miles per hour. Let's go to Chris Kinley.
Back to Crunknamona. James Hind 17 seconds back off Bruce Anstey. Davy Todd third place, 5.5 back. Davy Todd into his pit stop. I didn't think he was going to shut off, but here is Bruce, number 5, rolls in past the old stop box, gently down the middle of pit. You can hear the grandstand cheering for Bruce. Listen to that. That's the appreciation this man is held to all over the world of the motorcycling fraternity. The lead as he went across the line is 23.9, and Bruce's lap 117.05. Here's Ian Locker, number 3. Ian on the Yamaha, so it's 2 Hondas in the Yamaha. Ian Locker, 4th place through Crunknamona, and he's 15.7 back. You hear people shouting, come on Bruce. Davy Todd, well, he's just had Ian Locker go past him. Ian Locker stops in his pit, and Davy Todd is about to leave now. And Bruce is gone. That's a hell of a pit stop. Bruce Anstey is ahead. And look at that for a Padgett's leaving the line together. Bruce has a little look over to the left. Will Davy Todd let him go? There's a drag race under the bridge. Bruce is past, and Bruce is now first on the road. So all we have in here in the pit stop at the moment is Ian Locker, but you hear the klaxon go one more time. That'll be for our next rider. As Ian Locker gets away, you hear that Yamaha chime into life. But here's number 9, James Hind, 115.30, and the gap across the line, 17.622. 17.622, Bruce Anstey. This is before the pit stops, though. Ahead of James Hind, Davy Todd 6.3 back off him, then Ian Locker. But Dominic Herbertson, as we know, is on the move. The number 8 machine is in there now. That's Jamie Coward, 6th place through Crunknamona. Jamie's lap time on that lap, 112.66. And here's number 7, Gary Vines in, 110.77 for Gary. And as he came through the grandstand, Gary holding provisionally in 7th, but through Crunknamona, back a section in 8th position on that corrected time. And here's Hind about to go now. Oh, he's having a few problems there. I don't think the fuel cap is on properly. He's going to take it off himself. Take a bit of time. Take it some time. You've got 5 and a bit seconds. That's slowly being lost. Number 8, Jamie Coward away. So James Hind with a shake of the head, just having 1 or 2 problems. We talked about this in practice in the week, me and Chris Palmer. So now he's got to keep his head nice and level. And that time he's going to lose in the pits. Gary Vines away. Number 9 is away too. And oh, dear me. I think he's absolutely banjaxed this race there, to be honest. We'll get confirmation on that. But number 10 is in. That, of course, is Daniel Sale holding on to 8th place.
Chris,
go ahead, Tim.
You're absolutely right. I think he just got the red mist down after that problem. A 30-second penalty for James Hind. 62.494 kilometres per hour.
15 and 13 in for their pit stops. 15 Dom Herbertson, 13 Lee Johnson. As they went across the line, Ian Locker's got ahead of Dom Herbertson, and him and Lee Johnson going the pits right together. Just took it nice and gently down. Ian Locker up to 4th place, then into the grandstand, 16.223 back off Davy Todd. But that's all going to move around with James Hind. In fact, it's going to tighten it all up completely. 17 plus 6 is 23, 16 is 39, 41. So that 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th battle is going to be a belter. But Dom Herbertson back to 5th place, Jamie Coward number 8th and 6th across the line. Then it's 10 Daniel Sale. In fact, no, it's not. Reese Hardesty number 18 up to 7th place for Reese. So there we go. That's Lee Johnson away. Lee holding on to 10th place through Crunknamona, and as he came across the line at the grandstand in that 9th position. But we are waiting for more riders to come in. You hear Dom Herbertson go out as well. Shame for James Hind. Absolute disaster for the young man there. Number 14, Chris Moore. He's in an 11th place into the grandstand. And number 12, Phil Harvey, also in. Phil holding on to 12th position. Looking at the pit stop times, Tim Glover. Tim O'Hanlon.
Anstey was 16.1 seconds quicker than Davy Todd. So that's increased his lead to about 33 seconds. With Hines getting a 30-second penalty, and Locker was 16 seconds quicker than Todd, so he's only going to be about 6 behind Davy Todd, so it's tightened up for 2nd and 3rd.
Certainly has. Back to Tim Glover.
Yeah, Hind in his pit stop with the problems with the fuel filler cap there. 1 minute 8.2 seconds compared to the lightning quickest is Vine at 40.3, but Anstey was 40.8, and as Tim O'Hanlon said, Davy Todd much slower at 56.9 seconds. So once again, an awful lot has been sorted out in Gasoline Alley, and a furious splash and dash really, or fill up for 2 laps. And most of them are making the choice, if not all, to do it at the end of lap 1. I don't think we've had anybody go straight through. They've all come in to the pits, and there's 2 more in now. But Bruce Anstey, that opening lap, bang on the money with what he was doing in practice at 117.053 miles per hour, 19 minutes 20.397 seconds, 17.622 advantage over James Hind, and that will be extended with that 30-second penalty for Hind for speeding. The red mist had come down after the filler problems, and Anstey's also gained on Todd. He's away. Can he get the win that would be so popular, Dave Christian?
Yes, thanks, Tim. Just waiting the arrival of Bruce Anstey now, the first man on the road. Can't quite hear any engine noise just yet, but he won't be too far away. And yeah, I can hear engine noise now. And two bikes flash out of Glen Helen 2. Leader on the road is Anstey into the left-hander, and he's closely followed by Davy Todd. Both of them through here on very, very rapid indeed. But the time difference now between Bruce Anstey and Davy Todd is 42 seconds, 41.7, we'll call it 42, and 42 seconds. And it is obviously James Hind who's going to be the key man here, but Bruce Anstey had enough advantage as it was without giving him all that. So it makes the race possibly a little bit easier for Anstey as Ian Locker rolls through here on his second pass tonight. And Locker currently holding third place pending the arrival of James Hind, who obviously started a little bit further back, the number 9 plate. But that's an absolute disaster, as I think Chris Kinley used the word banjaxed, word we don't hear used very often, but you get its meaning straight away. He's totally destroyed the race there for himself. Which was really unfortunate, but these are learning things. Experience is a hard teacher. You always get the exam before you get the lesson, and I'm sure James Hind will take that on the chin and move on forward with it. But yeah, a 30-second pit lane penalty on top of the problem with the fuel filler cap. Total disaster. But Dominic Herbertson was running well, and Dom Herbertson may yet profit from this. The next man in is number 8 and number 9. There's James Hind now and Jamie Coward together on the road. But James Hind has dropped to 5th place. James Hind drops down to 5th place as Gary Vines comes through now and pushes James Hind down to 6th place to take another blow to the body when you're on the ropes. So at Glen Helen on lap 2, Bruce Anstey leads Davy Todd by 42 seconds. Ian Locker currently 3rd place. He's 8 seconds back on Todd. That was, I think, number 10, Daniel Sale through, safely through on his second lap. Dan just in 5th place at the moment. He's going to push James Hind down even a little bit further. So everybody making hay while the sun shines there, unfortunately for James. But Daniel Sale currently 5th place. Dom Herbertson started a little bit behind him, though, as did Rhys Hardesty. And we'll need to take those two through before we can confirm those higher places. But at the front of the race, it's Bruce Anstey, Davy Todd and Ian Locker who are in the podium positions right now. And we'll see whether or not they can hold on to those. But Bruce with a 42-second advantage coming up to the midpoint of the race seems quite a commanding lead. Here's 15 and 13. 13 Lee Johnston, 15 Dominic Herbertson. Dominic Herbertson does in fact go ahead of Daniel Sale. So Herbertson muscles his way into the top 5. Number 15, Dominic Herbertson, 5th place. He is 7 seconds back on 4th place, Jamie Coward. But he has a very, very slender advantage indeed over number 10, Daniel Sale, who's in 6th place. Just 2/10 of, sorry, not even 2/10 of a second, 200ths of a second. 200ths of a second. So they're virtually inseparable as 14 and 18 come through now. Rhys Hardesty and Chris Moore. Chris Moore 14, Rhys Hardesty 18, Phil Harvey through now as well. And how does that affect the top 5? It doesn't. Daniel Sale holds that 6th place. And in 7th place now we have number 18, Charles Rhys Hardesty. He is 5 seconds down on Sale. Gary Vines in 8th place. That's number 7. Gary Vines, 8th place. He is 7 seconds back on Hardesty. James Hind, number 9, is in 9th place. Sadly for James, he is 2 seconds down on Gary Vines. And making up your top 10 at the moment is Lee Johnston. Number 13, Lee Johnston, he is 7 seconds down on 9th place Hind. Guys, we watching on the first lap. I think Tim picked up Stephen Howard Number 29, Stephen Howard, he started in 22nd, start position 22. He was up to 12th place at one stage. I think at the end of the lap he was in 13th place going into the pits, so he's climbed approximately 10 places. Dominic Herbertson, another big mover, started 15th. He was up to 6th, now 5th. And number 50, a bit further down the field, Andrew Davies. He started 30th, and at the end of lap 1, he was up to 21st. So a 9-place gain there for number 50, Andrew Davies. At the front of the race, though, we're going to have a quick flick down to Ballaugh Bridge, because I'm sure the leaders won't be far away. In fact, they're there already. Bruce Anstey through Ballaugh Bridge, as is Davy Todd. The lead was 42 seconds here at Glen Helen. At Ballaugh Bridge on lap 2, it is now 47 seconds. And Ian Locker, he is 11 seconds back on Todd. 19 comes through here. Johnny Barton safely through on his second lap. And looks like 38. That's Tom Snow. Tom Snow going well, just outside the top 10, 13th place at the moment for Tom Snow. There's Stephen Howard. He is still 13th. He muscles Tom Snow down to 14th place. Jamie Coward, Gary Vines and James Hind now all through at Ballaugh, and Dan Sale as well takes the trips the beam at Ballaugh Bridge. And Sale still 5th place provisionally at Ballaugh, but that's pending the arrival of Dominic Herbertson. Remember, they were virtually inseparable here at Glen Helen, 200ths of a second, and that's virtually that's not even a missed gear. That's a gap that you just can't quantify in the mind. 49, 24 and 42 all through here, 35 as well, Richard Lambourne. But the story at Glen Helen and Ballaugh at lap 2, Bruce Anstey leads Davy Todd by 47 seconds. In third place, number 3, Ian Locker. He's 12 seconds back on Davy Todd. Back to you at the grandstand.
Yeah, another, just to confirm, we had him as stop before, but number 16, Carsten Svensson, is now retirement at Beligg Bridge. And number 46, David Glover, retirement at Selborne Drive. At Sulby and the speed trap, latest through there, just looking, Bruce Anstey was 150.1 once again. So that's his quickest, but Daniel Sale 151.1 on the opening lap, the quickest. And just seeing, they're all pretty much at station, 150.8 from Dan Sale. He really is whizzing through on the straight there at Sulby, but no problems to be detected from any of the bikes going through there. Looking down at the Mill & Co by Padgett's motorcycle crew, they're hanging, I think, on every word of the commentary. And, let's go to Ramsey Hairpin, Roy Moore.
Bruce Anstey, middle of the road, exit from Stella Maris, so he's not absolutely trying, but certainly very, very neat and tidy. Just has a quick overlook over his left shoulder, and exactly the same place. Out comes the left hand, and this is Davy Todd, number 1. The difference between them is 51 seconds, so a further 4 seconds pulled out on the run from Ballaugh Bridge here to Ramsey Hairpin, but later than probably Bruce. The two Padgett machines get chimed up and heading up towards the waterworks. We're just noticing there that Jamie Coward appeared to be on the move. I think the gap between him and Ian Locker at Glen Helen was something like 7 seconds, and it was down to 3.917. 4 seconds, another fast machine comes into view. This is Ian Locker, tight down to the outside line. He's got now. He tried the inside line before there, but away he goes. That machine being looked after by a former winner, Eddie Laycock, 1987 Junior 350, and he got round at 108 at that particular time, but a good set of lads up there, and we had a good bit of a laugh with them the other day, and certainly they're looking out for that EMC that Eddie Laycock won. As he said, I wish I had it now, but they're not eligible as yet because the EMCs had the Rotax engine, and certainly it's only Yamahas and Hondas that appear to be out on this particular one, and certainly no outlet yet for Rotax machinery to come. So that would be it. We're looking for Jamie Coward to see has he made any inroads to Ian Locker. Well, Ian Locker's had the hurry up, but Jamie Coward hasn't been able to make it because Jamie Coward is through, and there is number 9 James Hind after that pit stop. Well, unfortunately, it's one thing you can't practice. How many times in your life do you get a motorbike heading towards you, one person on the pump and the other person taking the filler cap off and then filling it up to a required distance with fuel, and then under nervous pressure getting that fuel cap back on? This looks like Gary Vines here at Ramsey. It certainly is. Daniel Sale then certainly 12 far behind him. And here is Dan Sale now. It's 12 seconds up between him and Jamie Coward. So Jamie Coward has had the hurry up, certainly from the lap. But Dan holding on to 5th place here. But let's run through the top 7 as we have it on lap number 2 of the Dunlop lightweight at Ramsey Hairpin. Leading number 5, Bruce Anstey by 51.279 seconds from, in 2nd place, number 1, Davy Todd, who in turn is 13.5 seconds ahead of, in 3rd place, number 3, Ian Locker. Ian Locker holds a 4.5 second advantage over 4th place, number 8, Jamie Coward. In turn is 7 seconds ahead of, in 5th place, Dominic Herbertson. This should be Dominic here now. He's quick. He is very quick. The back end just goes a little bit light, but flips it down through the box. So it's 5th place for number 15, Dominic Herbertson. 7 seconds down on Jamie Coward, and he's got a 5 second advantage over now, in 6th place, number 10, Daniel Sale. In turn, Daniel Sale only holds on to a 3 second advantage over number 9, James Hind. So he's moving back up the leaderboard as number 13, Lee Johnston, the past winner of this event, is through. But he's in 9th place here of the 9 riders who have gone through Ramsey Hairpin. But we're waiting the arrival of number 18, Charles Rees Hardesty, because he could make a difference. Is he catching up with James Hind, or has James Hind got ahead of him? It's James Hind who's ahead, because there is Charles Rees Hardesty, and behind him is Chris Moore, number 14. So let's revise that then from 6th place down. 6th is Dan Sale. He's 5 seconds down on Dominic Herbertson. We have then in 7th place, so he's made up that ground on Charles Rees Hardesty as number 9, James Hind. He's 2 seconds behind Dan Sale, and he holds a 4 second advantage over, in 8th place, Charles Rees Hardesty. That leaves Gary Vines in 9th, Lee Johnson 10th, Chris Moore 11th, and Phil Harvey in 12th place. There's a big gap between Phil Harvey and Chris Moore. 50 seconds is the gap there, so that will be the case as they went through Ramsey Hairpin. So that is the 12 riders certainly through. The bungalow is Bruce Anstey. The lead has increased now a further 4 seconds on the sector here from Ramsey Hairpin to the bungalow. It's Bruce Anstey through the bungalow, number 5, 55 seconds ahead now of number 1, Davy Todd, and Davy Todd has increased his advantage over Ian Locker by 2 seconds, because he is now 55 behind Bruce Anstey, but 15.5 ahead of Ian Locker, number 3, of those who have gone through the bungalows so far. We've only had 12 through Ramsey Hairpin at the moment, and I think we've got everybody who's slotted into position, but certainly the red mist came down to that 30-second time penalty in the pit lane for James Hind. James Hind has made the bungalow on his second lap. Jamie Coward will be the man who would be he would have his sights on next. What is the difference between him of those who have gone through so far, discounting the fact that Dominic Herbertson could make a bit of an impact on that? It's in 4th place, number 8, Jamie Coward, 5 seconds behind Ian Locker, but it's now 5th place, number 9, James Hind, who's only 6.5 seconds down on Jamie Coward. So great racing too as they head out for the 3rd lap back at the grandstand. Tim Glover.
Thank you very much for waiting for the first light to come on. I can tell you James Hind, we've got to wait for Dominic Herbertson, but he's got ahead of Daniel Sale at the bungalow, so he's working his way back up after the disappointment. So the 19-year-old from Market Raisin is showing a little bit of character. But Bruce Anstey, the light is on, and it's getting brighter and brighter as we start to lose the light here on this Saturday evening, where we're on a 3-lap Dunlop Lightweight Classic TT. Well, there's going to be cheering and programmes in the air, even though this is only the end of lap 2, because Bruce Anstey got such an ovation just for coming in to do a pit stop before. Such encouragement for the Flying Kiwi. Haven't seen that before. Normally it's a lap record, absolute lap record, that gets that sort of ovation. But Bruce Anstey Davy Todd is Malenko by Padgett's Motorcycles teammate, is already through Kronknimona as well. Back at the bungalow, it is Dominic Herbertson in 5th, but Hind ahead of Sale, he's into 6th. But here is Bruce Anstey. Can hear him coming. People are getting to their feet. People are beginning to wave their hands in the air. Oh, that sounds so sweet, doesn't it, as it heads down towards Bray Hill, and he's on his final lap. Remember, this race only 3 laps, and through there is Davy Todd. At Kronknimona, the gap was 56.850 seconds. It's now 57.342, so every mile he's just eking a little bit more out. He doesn't need to. He's got an enormous lead here. Light on for number 3, Ian Locker. He's 17.7 seconds back on Todd, and the light also on for number 9, James Hind, and now number 8, Jamie Coward. It should be Locker. Ian Locker there on the Laylor Racing Yamaha, disappearing towards the St Ninians crossroads, and well, the lap times of course include the pit stop, but Bruce Anstey was still 113.40 miles per hour on that second lap. This is the one true flying lap that they're going to have now, this final lap, the 3rd lap of the Dunlop Lightweight Classic TT, as Hind should come into view now. James Hind, the klaxons are sounded, but he's not coming in. He's going to be staying out there trying to make amends for the error of his ways in that pit stop. Well, I think he was just so desperately disappointed when he lost time, and he could feel it ebbing away as the fuel filler cap wouldn't go in. That is number 8 through, Jamie Coward. So Davy Todd, 57.3 seconds down on Anstey in 2nd. In 3rd, 17.2 seconds further back is Ian Locker. Locker has an advantage over 4th place number 8, Jamie Coward, of 8.2 seconds. But now James Hind is just 1.3 behind Coward. So he really is tramping on and trying to make amends as there through goes Gary Vines. He's 35 seconds back though on Hind of the 6 that have gone through. Dan Sale will slot above him, and does. And Hind now has a 14.9, call it 15-second advantage over Dan Sale. So this is a real show of character after that disappointment from Hind. He's putting that behind him, but well, I don't think he's going to be able to do anything about getting on a podium, but we'll wait and see. He's got to put in the real special 3rd lap, but he's certainly not given up. This should be Herbertson through. It is indeed, and Herbertson goes into 5th, but he's now just 0.694 behind Hind. So let's just go through that. Anstey is 57 seconds ahead of Todd, who in turn is 17 seconds ahead of Locker. Locker is 8.2 seconds ahead of Coward, and Coward is just 0.694 of a second ahead of Herbertson, who in turn is just 0.674 of a second ahead of James Hind. So a real battle commencing there. And through goes number 13. That's last year's winner, Lee Johnston. And Johnston's a retirement by the look of it. Yep, he's not coming to pit lane, but he's pulling in and will be coming up the return lane. So a retirement for last year's winner, Lee Johnston, here at the grandstand. So let's just give you the times. It was Anstey at 113.399. Davy Todd 110.322, Ian Locker 110.232 miles per hour, Coward 109.950, Dominic Herbertson 109.620, James Hind 110.037. Let's go to Glen Helen and Dave Christian.
Yes, thanks, Tim. Awaiting Bruce Anstey, and what a popular win this will be for the Flying Kiwi. 57 seconds his advantage, and hear engine noise coming up the valley now. Machine does come out of Glen Helen too. The fans are waving. That is Bruce Anstey. Looks and sounds sweet as a nut. Don't appear to be any problems there for Bruce. I'm almost thinking that I see his right foot lift off the peg there to salute the crowd on the right-hand side. I'm not sure I did. It's a little bit dark down here, but he looks to be enjoying himself. Number 1, Davy Todd. The advantage of Bruce Anstey at the grandstand at the end of lap 2 was 57 seconds. It's now 59, so he's still nudging clear of Davy Todd. And he's got to start thinking about bike conservation now. Make sure he gets that home for what will be a fantastic win around this mountain course. One thing that we did spot on that lap, you were talking about James Hind and his attempt to recovery. That must be quite a quick lap James Hind has put in there on lap 2, because he not only recovered some of the damage that he did in the pits, but he's actually built on some of that lead as well. He must be a good half a minute quicker than some of his nearer competitors. Ian Locker safely through here on his final pass of the afternoon. 21 seconds now the gap between him and Davy Todd. It was 17 at the grandstand. So again, Ian Locker, he's going to have to watch himself though. Jamie Coward just 8 seconds behind him at the grandstand. And if Ian Locker starts to drop too much time, he could be caught. But I suspect he's probably just making sure he nurses the machine home. Highly experienced rider, of course. But it is Bruce Anstey firmly in charge here of this Dunlop Lightweight Classic TT. There's James Hind now. Number 9, James Hind. He is 4th place here at Glen Helen. At the moment, just 6.7 seconds down on Ian Locker. But, of course, we do need to get Dominic Herbertson through, and Jamie Coward as well. There's Coward now, and Hind has gone ahead of him. So Hind in 4th place, pending the arrival of Dominic Herbertson, and there wasn't too much time between them, just over half a second at the grandstand between Hind and Herbertson. And if Hind is on a flyer, he might just have consolidated himself into 4th place. Not quite as good as the 2nd place he had earlier on, but he's clipping away there at Ian Locker, and if he can continue building on that quick lap, he might just manage to sneak 3rd. 7 is Gary Vines. Gary Vines was in 9th place at the grandstand. He is currently 6th. That is Daniel Sale, number 10, safely through here. But he'll go ahead of Gary Vines, as will Rhys Hardesty and Dominic Herbertson when they arrive. It is Anstey's race for the taking. As we flick over, we'll have a look at Bluff Bridge. Keep you topped up when Bruce gets there. But at the moment, Anstey ahead of Todd by 59 seconds. It's just about a minute. Ian Locker 3rd, but in danger of being caught now. 6.7 seconds is the gap between 4th place James Hind and 3rd place Ian Locker. And Hind on the charge might just be able to sneak a podium at the end of this race from the absolute disaster in the pit lane at the end of the first lap. Next man on the road should be Dominic Herbertson, number 15. And Dom the Bomb was 5th place at the grandstand as Bruce Anstey takes Bluff Bridge. That's Bruce Anstey over Bluff Bridge now, as we await the arrival of Herbertson and number 18, Charles Rhys Hardesty. Rhys Hardesty will also drop into that top 10. But Bruce Anstey at Bluff Bridge, he'll be moving his way on towards Gwens, Bellacry, and into the Quarry Bends. Davy Todd now through Bluff. The gap is up to over a minute. That is Rhys Hardesty. So Dom Herbertson not made it here on his final lap. Rhys Hardesty into 7th place now. And he will be 2 seconds behind Daniel Sale. So there's a possibility for Hardesty to move up one if Dan Sale doesn't keep his skates on. But the ones we need to see at Bluff to give us a further update on the progress of the race are Ian Locker and James Hind. Locker won't be too far away now, and Hind wasn't that far behind them on the road. But just 6.7 seconds between third and fourth on adjusted time. And Hind, with the flyer that he did on lap 2 to make up for the damage he caused in the pit lane, he might just be able to sneak a podium before the end of this race. Locker now through at Ballaugh Bridge. At Ballaugh, Bruce Anstey's lead is increased again a further 2 seconds. He now leads Davy Todd by 1 minute and 1 second. And Ian Locker in third place. He again has dropped a couple of seconds to Todd. And Locker is now 24 seconds down on Davy Todd in third place. And James Hind might just catch him yet. He is on a charge, is James Hind. That is 12 comes through here. That is Phil Harvey. James Hind is now closing in on Ian Locker. Number 9 Hind through Ballaugh Bridge. The gap is down to 3.4 seconds. So James Hind on the charge. I think he might just sneak Ian Locker by the end of this lap and redeem some of the damage he's caused. But it is Anstey in the lead. He's got a healthy advantage, 1 minute and 1 second at Ballaugh Bridge. It's just about at the halfway point of the circuit as well. So Bruce Anstey with half a lap to go, 1 minute and 1 second ahead of Davy Todd. In third place, Ian Locker, 24 back, and closing in rapidly on Locker is number 9, James Hind. He is just 3.5 seconds down on Locker at Ballaugh. And of the 5 through at Ballaugh Bridge, number 8, Jamie Coward, currently holds on to 5th place. He's 4 seconds down on James Hind. He was in 5th place here at Glen Helen as well, so that will be his lot, I would think. Dan Sale is 18 seconds down on Jamie Coward in 6th place. Solid ride from Dan Sale, but he's not just not quick enough to get in there and trouble the podium places today, at least. I'm sure he'll be back again at Glen Helen then and Ballaugh on lap 2. It is Bruce Anstey firmly in charge for one of the most popular wins we'll see around this course. He leads at Ballaugh, Davy Todd by 1 minute and 1 second, and with third place Ian Locker under threat from a charging James Hind. Back to you at the grandstand.
So many stories. Bruce Anstey's come back. What a ride by James Hind as well. Davy Todd, so honoured to be off at number 1. Further retirements, Colin Croft a retirement at Glen Duff, making his own arrangements, and Chris Moore a retirement at Cregnebar, making own arrangements. Let's go to Ramsey. Is it still Anstey?
Bruce Anstey, well, he should be in the Ramsey area if your timing is correct, certainly from the grandstand. We can't as yet hear a machine interview, but Bruce Anstey has broken the beam at the bottom there at the White Gates, just from the exit from White Gates, and here he is at Ramsey Hairpin. What an inspiration to all long, dark, black days of treatment, and here you are leading the 250 lightweight, and up goes the left hand, and off comes another visor in exactly the same place. There'll be 3 there, probably roundabout in line with one another, and certainly it looks as though they're going to be the winning visors, so to speak, in there. But we've still got plenty of things to do here at Ramsey, and look at that battle between Ian Locker and James Hind as Davy Todd comes through. So that is a big tribute to the Milenko by Padgett's team for preparing the machinery to put them first and second at the moment. We all know how fickle they are at times, these 2 strokes, but certainly Davy Todd safely through Ramsey, 1 minute and 3 seconds down, so it's only 2 seconds on the run from Ballaugh Bridge here to Ramsey Hairpin. The Bruce Anstey is picked out, certainly, it's over the minute. It's 1 minute and 3 seconds. It was 1 minute and 1 at Ballaugh Bridge, so maybe just rolling it back a fraction just to make sure that machine lasts. Now this is the battle, because Ian Locker is here at Ramsey, and he must be fully aware that somebody is right behind him, because he was quick at Estella Maris, and he's revving it away. He's through. He's 24 seconds down on Davy Todd, but we're looking out for number 9 to see what the difference of the gap will be between him and James Hind here at Ramsey on the final lap number 3, the shortened race. But certainly it was 3 seconds at Ballaugh Bridge. There is another machine in the Ramsey area that you can hear. It's flying towards us. He's up to 3rd. James Hind has taken Ian Locker on the run, but it's only by 1 second. James Hind up to 3rd. Number 9, James Hind, 23 seconds down on Davy Todd, but now 1 second ahead of in now 4th place, number 3, Ian Locker. So can he maintain that over? What a story that'll be The stories all over this race, and certainly Bruce Anstey now will be making that mountain climb. Probably the daylight up there will be a lot brighter than where we are under the trees here at Ramsey Hairpin, but we can describe the next rider through, and it is number 8, Jamie Coward. Gets it fired up, and certainly he's holding on to 5th position here. He's 9 seconds down though on Ian Locker, 9 seconds down on Ian Locker, but he had an 18-second advantage at Ballaugh Bridge over his next placeman there, number 10, Daniel Sale. He was 18 seconds down on Jamie Coward at Ballaugh Bridge, but that is the big news, that James Hind has got back on the podium, but it's only by 1 second over Ian Locker, and I'm absolutely convinced the way Ian Locker came there, can he use all his experience over the mountain to kind of pull that back, as number 10 Dan Sale and number 7 Gary Vines are through Ramsey. So Dan Sale overtaking Gary Vines there. Let's see what the board says there. It's Jamie Coward 8 seconds down on Ian Locker now, so that is a bit of a gap on there. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that gap there, that 1 second gap between Ian Locker we've mentioned. Jamie Coward, number 8, up into 5th place, 9 seconds down on Ian Locker, with now in 6th place number 10 Dan Sale, 20 seconds down though on Jamie Coward, and off those through so far, 7th place for number 7 Gary Vines, 30 seconds down on Daniel Sale. But we're awaiting, do we see through Ballaugh Bridge? Do we see Dominic Herbertson has gone through Ballaugh Bridge? It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look as though Dominic Herbertson has made Ballaugh Bridge, but Bruce Anstey is well up the mountain now and is on the bungalow. He's past the bungalow, and certainly that would be the case. We're just checking that now. That would put Charles Rees Hardesty. That would move him up a place, so he would probably move up, I would suggest, up into 7th place, but that's to be confirmed. But Bruce Anstey has made the mountain climb to the bungalow, and the gap is 1 minute and 8 seconds. 1 minute and 8 seconds as they come. Just Pat O'Hanlon tell us Charles Rees Hardesty is through Ramsey Hairpin, and there's only 1 second between him and Daniel Sale. So could Charles Rees Hardesty get that 6th place, the top 6 for him? So he's safely through now, and certainly number 18 Ryan Davy Todd has made the mountain climb and is 1 minute and 8 seconds, so a further 5 seconds there pulled out by Bruce Anstey many times as he climbed that mountain, but none more important, I would think, in his mind than the one he's doing at the moment. He'll have everything crossed that everything holds together. Ian Locker has made the mountain climb, but we're waiting to see if James Hind is there and still maintaining that lead on the climb up to the bungalow. Good performances from Chris Dowling and Andy Bush-Davies as well, as we've got a little bit of time just to fill in that. Chris Dowling getting helped by Dean Stimpson, who had such a great ride down at the Southern, the pre-TT Classic, and Charlotte Morton. And Ian Locker, it's out to 7 seconds now. It's out to 7 seconds. James Hind holds 3rd place at Ramsey, and he's 14 seconds behind Davy Todd, but 7 at the bungalow, but 7.5 seconds now ahead of Ian Locker. Back to the grandstand.
Yeah, what a ride by Anstey. Davy Todd being solid as a rock there in 2nd place, and James Hind, what a story for the 19-year-old. Great determination shown after the bitter disappointment of the pit stop at the end of lap 1. But what an ovation if he makes it here to the grandstand. I'm sure we're going to have for Bruce Anstey after all the disappointment and, as Roy said, dark days and the treatment and must have been, well, we can't imagine, but to come back, I mean, he did his lap last year, demonstration lap, and I think that was a real tonic to him, but to come back and be racing and doing a 3-lap race, and he is at Cronknevona. The light is on for number 5, Bruce Anstey. He's made it to Cronknevona. There's just a few short miles now to the grandstand and a potential emotional victory in the Dunlop Lightweight Classic TT. James Hind then 7.4 seconds ahead at the bungalow. Bruce Anstey, I'm sure, will be grinning from ear to ear. He's been doing that all the time on his return to racing here on the Isle of Man. Light on for number 1 as well, and that's his Mill & Co by Padgett's Racing teammate Davy Todd. So it could be a 1-2 for Clyde Padgett. Bruce Anstey out to Governor's Dip. He'll be coming on to Glen Crutchley Road. And I'm sure there's going to be arms in the air, programmes in the air. A massive ovation for Bruce Anstey. Here he is. Bruce Anstey comes across the line to take the checkered flag. Both hands in the air. Listen to that applause from the crowd. What a win. Bruce Almighty Anstey, that's 6 Classic TT wins, 3 wins in the Dunlop Lightweight Classic TT. Annie Ramsey, Clyde Padgett and the team will be absolutely delighted that Bruce has come back and won. What an ovation he's going to get as he comes through. But here's our man in second, Davy Todd. 1-2 for Padgett, and look at the scenes of joy on the face and, well, the hands off the handlebars again, straight down to Chris Kinley.
This place is about to erupt. Here he is. We will stay clear of this one just for a moment. Let's let them all get in. Clyde gives Annie a big, big kiss. And I think Dave Christian said it just before. All them dark days with all the new treatment and everything he had to go through again with this awful thing that affects so many people around the world. If you want the sporting story, there's one. James Hind is through chronic pneumonia, 12.053 seconds behind Davy Todd in second place. Ian Locker's just crossed the line, but a great second place for Davy Todd. Clive and the boys and Dave over straight away to give him a big hug, as he always does with the riders. And James Samara is also in there as well. And there's Clive once again with Bruce giving a big hug. And there is James Hind confirmed in third place. That, ladies and gentlemen, is fantastic for the young man, number 9, to get himself up to third place after the error in the pit stop when the cap wouldn't go on for him, and then losing that 30 seconds as they went out. We're going too fast on the pit limiter, but we'll let him get his lid off and just gather his thoughts just a moment. Ian Locker, fourth place, 10 seconds back in the end, and he just wipes all the flies and stuff and all the rubbish off his nose. And this moment, I think, he's even off the bike as well. Let him have a big stretch. I'll even bend down and pick that up for you. You deserve that. And Bruce,
I'll give you a hug as well.
Oh God! Broke me. Oh, look at all this sweat all over me too. Do you know what? I've been in here a few times. That's great.
That's awesome. Just can't believe it. Just big thanks to everybody, really. All the people, going Foden Page, that put money into that to get me over here. So wouldn't have been able to make it if they weren't for them. The team, Clive's family, just been fantastic. Malenko, just great support to us as well. They've been fantastic. Just all our sponsors, Carl Cox, just awesome to be back.
Back is a word. The pit stop when you came in, oh my goodness me.
It was quick.
No, but could you hear the crowd? They were cheering you all the way in. As soon as you come in for the pit stop, they knew you had the lead. They were cheering you. And what a pit stop again by these boys.
Yeah, I can believe it got at the same time as Davey. It's like, I can believe it was quite a nice, quick, fast stop. I was just in the zone. I couldn't hear anything. I was just like concentrating on riding.
A few months ago, Dave touched on it at Glen Helen. You and Annie and all the guys, you were planning for other things. Look where you are now. That smile, that big smile, and on the number 1 spot again. I mean, last lap, explain how you felt coming down the mountain on that last lap. You knew you had a good lead.
Yeah, it was it's always a last lap. You're always really nervous listening to the engine, short shifting everywhere. Like I had doing a big lead, you're just short shifting, but not trying to go so fast. Everybody's waving out, so I just try to keep my concentration and just get it to the end.
We all love a good story, and this is one of the belters. This is one of the best sporting stories of 2019.
I know, it's just like I say, just the last 2 years have been, I can't say the word, but
no, well, it's been hell for you, isn't it, really, for all of you?
Yeah, it's been a tough time. It's been really tough on me, really tough on Annie. If it wasn't for Annie, I wouldn't be here either, so big thanks to her, and I'll stop now.
Oh, blimey. Ladies and gentlemen, Bruce Anstey, you guys in the grandstand, I'm sure, and everybody here giving a big round of applause. Getting a bit emotional on the interview, and why the devil not? That's brilliant. Fantastic. And he goes over to see Davy Todd. We'll grab a word with Davy if we can. We'll let John just get the picture of that. Yeah, and I bet you Davey Todd's learned a little bit being on the 250 behind Bruce on that second after the pit stop in the first lap. And Davey, well, off at number 1 on the Malenko bike, and to have your teammate do that, I mean, it's great for you to be second place, but that, you know, motorbikes, you know, people who love motorbikes, that is a sporting triumph, isn't it?
Yeah, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible watching him ride a bike, and just that little bit there where he come past me and I get to see what he does is just like absolute gold. You know, it's incredible to see, and I'm so pleased for him to get the win, and 1-2 for the team as well is awesome.
Is that why you let him go after the pit stop? Because you went out together? I seemed to have a little look over to see where he was. And just in your head, as a motorcyclist, never mind the fact that you're second in the race, you want to learn, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I seen we were coming out right together there, and I thought there's no point even trying to go in front. I get in behind him and see what I can learn, because he's a master, especially on these things. So I followed him for a short amount of time anyway before he was gone, but definitely learned a lot.
Where did you learn? What did you learn? I mean, because riding these things is different to the big superbikes that you normally ride in 600s, isn't it?
The corner speed's incredible. You know, I'm still learning step by step, you know. Not that I should probably say, but the first time I rode it on Tuesday, I did 3 laps and crashed it. So it was an absolute baptism of fire. And, you know, I've learned just lap by lap. And, you know, they're awesome bikes to ride. And I just want to keep doing more laps.
Well, hopefully see you back on one next year, Davey. Well done.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, buddy. Cheers. There's Davey Todd. And let's get over to James Hind. And well done, Dave. James, let's grab a word with you. I tell you what, young man, Bruce winning the race, Davey second, but I think yours is a pretty blinking good story, isn't it? The pit stop, hydraulic up, did it, the fuel cap?
Yeah, couldn't get it. It's got to line up for a start, and it just didn't line up, and Panic City, but well.
Panic City, and the right hand took over as you left the pit lane. And I said, I wanted to say something else, but I couldn't. I said, he's banjaxed his race, but the last 2 laps, blimey, to overhaul guys like Ian Locker and Jamie Coward to get third place here at the classic lightweight TT. Tell us about it.
Cannot believe it. I couldn't believe I got going, and I found caught Jamie up, and I thought, bloody hell, I'm doing all right. And then caught Gary Vines up, and he's good, you know, he's quick round here, so yeah. And then coming to the pits, and then had the right balls up, but can't be helped. Tried my hardest.
You tried, yeah, but come on, third place in this company.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
Is he normally dead speaky? Is he normally dead talkative? Is he? No, not at all. All right, but you've got to realise what you've just done, haven't you? You have to realise that, or will you realise when you get home and take stock and just think, "Damn, I wish I'd done that. Damn, I wish I'd done this."
Yeah, well, just speechless. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Over the moon.
Over the moon. Well, he's over the moon. John, he's over the moon. John for the paper, just writing that down. He's over the moon and happy. Good man. We'll send you for electrocution lessons, all right? We'll sort you out for next year, all right?
Cheers, Chris. Thank you.
Well done, buddy. Well done, guys. Great effort. Excellent stuff. So there you go. There's your top 3. Tim.